What's up, Make Pop Music? It's Austin here from Austin Hole Audio and Visual and Make Pop Music. And I know I did a studio tour probably several months back, but I've gotten a lot of new gear and we've gotten a lot of new people on the YouTube channel, and we get a lot of questions on what I'm using, what I prefer, kind of what my setup is. So I figured, screw it, we'll just do a whole studio tour and give you a rundown, show you some of the new goodies we've been playing with, and then just kind of hop into some of my essentials. All right, so let's start in a pretty unconventional spot, but this is a new pickup, and honestly, I'm super stoked on it. I've always wanted a mini fridge in the studio, and New Air actually reached out with this Pepsi and Pete vintage mini fridge, and this thing is super sick. They reached out for me to try it. It holds 126 cans, and then as you can see, it's even got like the Pepsi logo embroidered right there. And then you know, it's got all of my stuff in it: Pepsi, beer, energy drinks, because we need them. I just feel like every studio should kind of have a mini fridge. And when I posted this on Instagram, a lot of people were asking me, is the noise an issue? Is it really loud? Is it gonna bother people in the studio? This thing is actually super silent. On their website, it rates it at 30 dB of a noise floor. I don't even notice that. I've literally never ever heard it being over here while I'm working, so I'm loving this. If you guys definitely want to go check this out, we'll leave a link in the description. You can actually use that link and then use the code 20MakePop and you'll save 20% off on the mini fridge. They didn't have to give us the code, but we really appreciate it. If you want something to kind of spice up your studio, this looks really good when you have clients come over, so highly recommend it. So the first thing I really want to dive into is kind of my studio essentials, to things that I am always using, and basically the rig that I absolutely have to have in order to get work done. So the computer I'm using is a Windows, and it's actually a Dell. It's 32 gigs of RAM, and then I've got an i7 7700 in it, and I've got a 1TB SSD internal that hosts all of my programs. I've got a 1TB SSD external, which is gonna host all of my actual like project files, and then I've got a 6TB HDD external, which is what hosts all the samples, all of the files that I bounce down, client stems, any kind of sample libraries, all the big stuff like that. So 1TB internal for the super important, 1TB external for all the projects, and then the HDD to hold literally everything else. So that's my main system, and that's the Dell that I'm using for everything. And then my wife actually edits all of these videos on a MacBook Air. We edit on Premiere. This is actually filmed on a Lumix G7. We're just using a little Insignia kind of lav mic. And then the lens that we're shooting on right now is a Rokinon 12mm 2.0, and then we also have a Panasonic 1.7 that is a 25mm. So that's kind of our basic you know, computer specs, and then our filming specs. So that's my computer. That's kind of the most important thing in the studio. Second is we have my monitors, and I'm using Focal Shape 65s. I love them because they're a good size monitor for a pretty small room. The low end response is really good. The high end response is really smooth. I can work on them all day. I don't need a sub. The room I'm in is like 11 by 11, and you can kind of see we've treated it. We've got all of the orange panels my wife and I made ourselves, and then all of the gray panels are the Prime Acoustic London 12 kit. So we do have a pretty good treated room in here. We've got carpet on the floor. We've got a rug. The ceilings are like 10 feet, so we've got a little bit of space to work with. So the Focals are a really good matchup. I didn't want super big monitors, but I also wanted something with a little bit of low end and body in them. So I'm using those for my monitoring. For my main interface, I am using a Apollo Twin, which is basically kind of my go-to interface of choice, because if I ever travel, I can take it with me. And this is the USB one that works with Windows, so that's what I'm using. And then if I ever need more, I've actually got a Presonus Audiobox 1818 VSL that I can kind of use to record drums if I ever need more ins and more outs, but I'm almost always using this Apollo Twin. Another thing that I'm steadily using is my actual MIDI controller. I am using the M Audio Code 61. I like the 61 keys because it gives me enough to play if I want to play, you know, full piano progressions and melodies and chords, but it's not taking up my entire desk like an 88 key would. I love the M Audio stuff. I've got all of my MIDI maps set up. We've done videos on all of that. And then if I'm wanting something a little bit bigger, I'll go for my Juno DS88. This is 88 keys. They're all full weighted, ivory feel on them. They feel really nice. And this actually has sounds preloaded in, so if I want to go ahead and just run stereo cables out, I can. If I want to run just the MIDI out, I can do so with just like the micro MIDI cord. And then if I ever need to play live or something like that, this is great for that because it's got all the sounds preloaded on. So I love the Juno DS88. It feels amazing to play. There's a ton of sound choices already on there. And it's super DAW compatible. Like, it's got DAW controllers over here. If I'm over here and I need to record, I can do all of that within it. So So love this, but I'm almost always using that. So another thing that I'm always using is my microphones. I've got different mics for different things, so we'll kind of just start and then work our way down. I've got the SM7B here, which I'm typically using for live streams, if I do any voiceovers, any kind of podcast interviews or anything like that. I just kind of keep that on the desk because it's easy, it works with everything. Even if I just need to lay down like a quick little vocal for a vocal chop or anything like that, I'll just pull that bad boy out and then we're good to go on that. And then when I'm recording my own vocals, I'm primarily right now reaching for the Lauten Audio LA320. This is actually a tube condenser, so this goes to this little tube power source right here. And it sounds super good on my voice. Really nice high end. Lows are super full, but really punchy and consistent. And then they've also sent me the 220 right here, which is just an FET style condenser. So this one doesn't have any external power, it's just phantom powered. And this one's really nice. It's super clean. This would work on almost any voice, and it's a really good budget model. So if you're looking for a mic under like the $300 value, this is probably gonna be my go-to. If you're looking for one in the $500 value, I would say go for something like this. Sometimes if I'm recording somebody that I've never recorded before, or it's on a style that I don't record a lot, I'll go for something like this. This is a Slate VMS. And so this is super sick because I can just record. It's super clean and transparent. And then we record into the VMS preamp, the VMS1. And then once we do that, we can actually go into the Slate software and pick kind of any mic model that we want. So if I want to go with a 67 or a 47 or a C800, I can do all that stuff. I have the flexibility later. So if I'm recording something that I'm not 100% sure on the sound that I want or what's going to fit their voice best, we'll just go for something like this because it saves a lot of time rather than shooting out a bunch of mics and then I can just fix it later or put anything on it. A lot of the time I'll use it for backgrounds because I can use different mic models, so it'll sound like, you know, we have a whole mic locker selection. So between those and the Lauten Audios, that's getting a lot of what I need done. And then Jay-Z Microphones actually just reached out to me to try this, and I'm super excited because I haven't gotten a chance to try it yet, but the design on this is insane. As you can see, it's got kind of a hole right here, and even the little shock mount is completely different. The pop filter is wild, so it's definitely eye-catching. And I know a bunch of my peers and friends are loving it. I know Matthew Weiss swears by it on Pro Audiophile, so I'm super excited to try it. I can't kind of weigh in on it yet, but it looks insane. I'll be trying it this week. And let me know if y'all want me to do some kind of like review or shootout or something like that with this because it looks and sounds killer, and I can't wait to actually try it myself. So I've actually got a couple more mics on the other side of my room. This was the first mic I ever bought. This is the Sterling ST59. I really don't use it that much anymore. I kind of just have it for sentimental value. It was my first mic ever. I've used it on hundreds of records, and it's not a bad mic. It's pretty flat. It doesn't really have a lot of pizzazz or anything like that, but it'll definitely work on almost anything and any voice. So again, that's a really good budget mic if you are in the more entry-level budget. And then if I need to do something where I need a stereo pair, so like overheads or acoustic guitar or even percussive stuff, I have these over here. These are the Lauten Audio LA120s, and I have a stereo pair of those, so they're really nice. They actually have capsules that you can change in and out based on what kind of polar pattern you want, so you can do almost anything with those. And then if I need another set of stereo mics, I've also got a set of AKG P170s that I'll kind of pull out in case I need a second pair. So I just keep those locked away in the drawer, but again, just a pencil condenser just like those. On to some more miscellaneous stuff. So I do have the fader port. I use it sometimes. Honestly, I'm still not like 100% sold on it. I might sell it or just return it or something like that. It's cool, but it's one of those things that I don't automatically reach for. So it's cool. I know it works for a lot of people. I'm not 100% on it yet, so we'll kind of see as we're using it. And then for headphones, I have the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros, and then I've also got Audio-Technica ATH M50, so typically one pair for me, one pair for a vocalist that is tracking. And then that is all my monitoring, that with the focals. And then I've just got a couple power conditioners. One is Furman that all of my really important stuff goes to. One is Pyle that all of my kind of secondary LED lights kind of go to. And then for guitars, I've actually got a Gibson Les Paul Studio right here. It's in mahogany. I love that guitar. It's probably the one that I go for the most. I've got a Squier J Bass right here, which I picked up used for super cheap, and it definitely gets the job done. I've used it on a bunch of records. I've got the BC Rich Mockingbird right here, which was the first guitar I ever bought. I was 9 years old when I bought that guitar, and I used my birthday money to get it, so super sentimental to me. I've got just this little Dean mini acoustic, which is great for if I need to record acoustic or take it on the road or something like that. It's really good for traveling and writing because it's so small and compact. And then I've got this just like Flint Hill kind of off-brand guitar that was actually my late grandfather's that he gave me. And I can't string it up and use it because there is something broken on the inside to where if we string it too tight, it's just all gonna cave in on itself. So I need to get it stuck in like a plexiglass frame when I move into a room that's got space on the walls for it, but I keep it, you know, just for sentimental value. We talked about my computer a little bit earlier, but let's just talk about some of the software I use. I am using Cubase Pro 10, so I love it. It's my DAW of choice. I've been using Cubase now for like 4 years, and I love it. Steinberg makes really incredible stuff. Within Cubase, I'm using a lot of Complete. I have the Complete suite. I use Serum a ton. Serum's my most used. If you watch the channel, you probably know that. I use a lot of the Arturia stuff. I use a lot of the Waves, the Slate, the Fab Filter, and the Sound Toys plugins for like mixing and sound design. And then I've also got some stuff from some really cool stuff like TuneTrack with Superior Drummer and Easy Keys. And then we've just got some plugins from like smaller secondhand companies. I've got the whole Ontari suite, so Auto Tune, Auto Harmony, Auto Key, all of those things are insane. So I definitely have a lot going on in my computer. If you guys want me to make a video on kind of my most used VSTs, just let me know and we can run through my most used virtual instruments and my most used virtual effects, and I can kind of show you what I like, what I don't like, and then what I just go for most often. So that's most of my actual audio stuff. Then I've just got stuff around the room to make it kind of cozy. I don't want it to feel too much like an office or like a dentist office or something like that. So I have some knickknacks laying around, and you know, like the mini fridge was a really cool addition to that. But I've got this bookshelf where I've got Toy Story stuff, and if you know me, Toy Story was my favorite movie growing up. I still love it to this day. I've literally got a tattoo for it. So I've got a bookshelf with Woody, a bookshelf with Buzz, and then just some minifigurines. We've got some books down there with a Funko Pop figure from my other favorite movie, Christmas Vacation, that my wife got me for Christmas. I've got just some more Disney merch and memorabilia, a picture of me and my cousin Hope and my late grandfather, the one who we talked about him with the guitar. And then I've just got a box of cables and cords, all of the boxes from a lot of the gear that I have. And then this top one is just mic cases and camera gear. And then, you know, I've just got little knickknacks laying around. I've got the Make Pop Music sign, salt lamps, candles, just stuff to really make it warm and inviting in here. I don't want it to feel, you know, too claustrophobic or too cluttered. I like it being pretty open. Everything that I need is within an arm's reach. I don't overload it with gear that I'm probably never gonna use. I get a lot of questions on lighting. The lights behind the bookshelf here and the lights under my table are actually just strip lights from Amazon. They were like 15 bucks a piece. And then the lights in these lamps, these are like $10 lamps from Walmart. These light bulbs are like 10 bucks a piece from Amazon as well. So we'll try to link everything that I've talked about in the description below, but that's pretty much my entire room, you know. Other than that, it's just some stuff like tripods, lighting for the videos, just stuff like that. But that's pretty much my whole setup. We went over my monitoring, my microphones, my guitars, my system, kind of all of the stuff laying around my room. So we just launched our merch for Make Pop Music, so we do have it. I'll put the link in the description. I believe it's just makepopmusic.bigcartel.com. All of the proceeds will be going to Hungry for Music. We're not gonna make a single dime off of it. It's all print to order, so you can order whatever t-shirt you want in whatever size, whatever color. We've also got mugs, we've got hats, we've got hoodies. So if you want, definitely go pick them up. We kind of like the designs. They're fun, they're a little cheeky. They're not super boring with just our logo pasted on. So definitely go check them out. You're gonna support a good cause. Like I said, 100% of proceeds will go to Hungry for Music. So if you wanna check out the Make Pop Music merch, we'll link it in the description. But now let's go back to the actual outro. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what your most used pieces of gear are and what you think I should kind of check out to get for this studio, because I'm always looking for recommendations on microphones or monitoring or plugins or just things that a studio needs to have. So let me know if you have any recommendations. Let us know what videos you guys want to see, and we will be back next time. But for now, that's going to be it. Make Pop Music. Much love. Peace out.
I need you to say it. I need you to say it now. I need you to say it. Let the words roll out your mouth. Say the words and we'll go. Say